What's up guys, it's Marius from Audio Judgment, and as you can see I bought some speakers from AliExpress. Why? Because some of you live in the middle of Antarctica or some other remote place, and the shipping and importing fees are too high when buying from reputable speaker shops like Parts Express or Sound Imports. As you can see, I have two packages over here. And just so you know, I ordered a 6-inch driver, a single speaker, not a pair, a single 5-inch driver, and 2 pairs of tweeters. There is no reason to have 2 packages for so little stuff. However, AliExpress is an avid enjoyer of the smart use of game mechanics technique. To give you my personal example, when you order from AliExpress, the taxes are included in the price, unless the order exceeds 150 euros. When it exceeds that amount, they subtract the taxes because you will pay them at the local post office. If I remember correctly, the taxes were like 30 euros, which were subtracted from the total amount, and I paid like 5 euros per package at the post office. I don't know what exploits AliExpress likes to do, but I can't really complain. So before I do an unboxing, I want to talk about my choice of speakers. First of all, I wanted some speakers from a popular brand. From the little research I did, 2 brands popped up the most: Aiyima and GHX amp speakers. For no apparent reason, I chose Aiyima, and I picked a 6-inch driver, a 5-inch driver, and some tweeters to go along with them. And to give them a fair chance, I bought one of the most expensive speakers they had to offer. As a result, if the speakers perform poorly, there is no excuse. What we'll do next is unbox the speakers and give them a visual inspection. Then we'll do some electrical measurements and some acoustical measurements. Finally, if the speakers are any good, I'm going to build 2-way bookshelf speakers using these speakers, so you can replicate the design if you want to. Let me show you exactly what I bought. So if you go to aliexpress.com and type Aiyima, so this is the brand logo. I'm going ahead and going to click some random driver and go to store home. So I'm basically buying speakers because they have amplifiers and crossovers and all sorts of stuff. And I'm going to sort them by price. So first of all, we have a lot of subwoofers. We're not going to buy subwoofers. Some full range speakers, if I'm not mistaken, so like over here, and here it's where it starts to get interesting. This is a nice speaker. I didn't see it when it wasn't available when I made the purchase, which is probably like a month ago, so that is a bit disappointing. This is the 5-inch speaker I bought, so I have it open over here. And to give you to the next page, this is the 6.5-inch speaker, the other mid-bass driver. And then we had some random tweeters, nothing really special when it comes to tweeters. So if we go ahead and read about this speaker, it's almost funny when you read the description from AliExpress. So we have an Aiyima 6.5-inch woofer, audio car music speaker driver, 4-ohm, 50 watts, bass, auto, waterproof speaker, aluminum basin. So basically what they're doing, they're using all the keywords, so when you do a search, you have a likely chance to find what you are looking for. But then there's some waterproof. The waterproof speaker is made of high quality aluminum alloy material, which can be used for a long time. Of course, this is not waterproof. This isn't the waterproof speaker, I don't know. When I bought it, it didn't say waterproof. Loud sound. The sound is very clear and it can be heard clearly through the woofer. When you are not in use, it will emit a loud sound like a car speaker. Oh. The marketing team is not doing a very good job, but I guess that's okay. Okay, high performance car woofer. So a QTS of 0.4, usually I think these are meant to be used in a car maybe, but a 0.4 QTS suggests maybe use it in a speaker box. If you want to use it in a car, this number should have been a bit higher, maybe 0.6, 0.7, or even higher than that. Recommended guide tube, inner diameter 50 millimeters and 150 millimeters in length. Now, they're recommending the base reflex box, and the guide tube is probably the base reflex tube, and they're recommending a certain diameter and length, which is stupid because they're not mentioning the volume of the box. Now, the frequency response looks very good, but you have to take a look at the axis because it's between 10 and 110 decibels, so this is very misleading. It's not that linear. And for the other one, a 5.25 inch audio mid-range, bass speaker, 60 watts, 30 core. Have a 30 core woofer. I don't know what's a 30 core. Hi-fi music loudspeaker for bookshelf. Okay. Voice coil. It's a 30 core. I'm guessing it's a 3-inch voice coil they wanted to say. This is not a 3-inch. It's definitely smaller. Maybe a 30 millimeter voice coil. Maybe that's what they wanted to say. But the 30 core sounds much, much better. And these are the tweeter. 2 pieces, 2-inch tweeter. Again, it's a 3-inch tweeter. Some awkward measuring because I think I'm quite sure they're measuring the whole flange. So you can see 74 millimeters and they rate this as a 3-inch. So they're not telling you the effective diameter of the speaker, which is probably 1 inch or something like that. They quote the entire flange diameter. This is a 2-inch. Evidently, it's the whole flange, not the diameter of the speaker. And these are basically the speakers, so let's get to the unboxing. Okay, so let's see what we got. So we have the mid-bass drivers and the tweeters. And now let's check the mid-bass drivers. Okay, so we got everything unwrapped. The package was way overkill, I think, but that's a good thing when you order all the way from China. So you should not be worried that your speakers will get damaged on the transport. So let's look first at the waterproof speaker. You can clearly see that this is just a normal speaker, it's not waterproof at all. And indeed, this is a cast aluminum frame, which is super nice. And what I don't particularly like about the speaker is that it doesn't have the foamy surround. This one comes, I guess that it's an adhesive tape on one side and you stick it yourself on the back side. Otherwise, get some blue tack or something to seal the speaker when you mount it to the box. What I also don't like about the speaker is it has only 4 holes. I don't know why manufacturers do that. I see SB Acoustics, I think they do the same. 6-inch speaker, just drill 2 additional holes. So you have 6 holes. For this smaller speaker, I think 4 holes is fine. And what is there to say about the speaker? This flashy rim makes it look cheap, in my opinion. I think the purpose was to make it look better, but it looks definitely cheaper. There is no functional purpose to it, just aesthetics. We have a vented pole piece. The terminals are nice and sturdy. Maybe this screw is a bit loose, but it isn't flimsy. Some speakers have flimsy terminals. This one looks especially premium. Same aluminum chassis, cast aluminum, nice terminals. You can look at there is no glue spillage, so it's a nicely built speaker. Both of them sound like they're some kind of metal cone, vented pole piece. Looks promising, to be honest. Looks quite promising. And the tweeters, just a normal tweeters. This one has the foamy pad. This one as well. I think they're trying to copy I think this is a ScanSpeak driver that has this cap. Or is it a Peerless? I can't remember. Good looking tweeter, to be honest. Well, let's get to the measurements. But before we do the actual measurements, I want to break in the speakers. So I'm using a test tone very close to the resonant frequency of the driver. It looks like I'm stressing them out, but they're completely fine. I just want the suspension to be completely loosened before we do the measurements. First of all, let's do the impedance measurements. And let's start with the shiny 6-inch speaker. The impedance response looks quite good, but let's check the parameters. FS is 57 instead of 67 Hz. This may be explained by the fact that they measured the speaker when it was not fully broken in. An unused speaker usually has a higher FS compared to an identical speaker that has been playing for some time. However, QTS cannot be explained. Measured QTS is 1.06 and quoted QTS is 0.44. As I said, a higher QTS would be more suitable for a speaker which is designed for car audio. It seems that this is in fact a car speaker. Problem is that I can't use this in a box. The QTS is way too high to make a decent box for it. As a result, this speaker is good for car audio and we should leave it alone. Next, the 5-inch speaker. Nothing out of the ordinary with the impedance curve. FS measured value is higher, 61 Hz compared to the quoted 46 Hz, which is a bit disappointing to see such a large difference. QTS is 0.42 compared to the quoted 0.4, which is within margin of error and nice to see. VAS is 6 liters compared to the quoted 12 liters, which is a significant difference, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, as VAS measurement is not always accurate. In conclusion, let's say that the 5-inch driver is more faithful to what it's supposed to be. If we go ahead to the tweeters, let's start with the one with the orange cap. Instant red flag with the double peak in the impedance response. I don't know where the second resonance is coming from, probably poor design. The fact that the second peak is around 3 kHz, well in the playable range of the tweeter, is another thing that bums me out. Maybe a notch filter will fix it. Oh, by the way, if you think that this might be a bad example, tweeters come in pairs and I can measure the other one which has the same problem. Anyway, the resonant frequency is below 1 kHz, which should work in a two-way design, and the freer resonance peak is quite small, which should be nice to work with. Maybe paired with the 5-inch woofer will work nicely. If we take a look at the silver tweeter, there is nothing out of the ordinary except that the resonant frequency is at 1.4 kHz, and therefore this is very difficult to blend in a two-way design. So this tweeter is more appropriate in a three-way design. Now let's move on to the acoustical measurements. Now I'm not going to discuss these acoustical measurements because they are not accurate. I just measured them on a 50 cm wide baffle, and if you have watched my acoustical measurement course or are familiar with how these measurements are done indoors, you know that the first thing that will corrupt your measurement is the reflection from either the floor or the ceiling. In our particular case, that's the least of our worries. The first thing that will mess up our measurement is when the sound wave will reach the edge of the baffle. Edge diffraction will happen, which you do not want in your measurement, and also back wave cancellation. Anyway, to make the measurement more relevant, I placed the mic closer than usual, 50 centimeters away from the speaker, and also I spliced the near field measurement higher than normal. As a result, we do have some measurements, but the range between 500 Hz and 3 kHz is quite sketchy. So I'm not going to judge these responses too much, except for the silver tweeter. For poor response above 10 kHz, we established that this tweeter is only good in a 3-way, and at the same time the response above 10 kHz is not good. I'm sorry, but I must strongly advise against purchasing this tweeter, as it's not very useful. In conclusion, the silver frame speaker is good for car audio, and the silver diaphragm tweeter is quite bad. This leaves us with the 5-inch speaker and the orange cap tweeter to make a bookshelf speaker. So, if you're into this kind of stuff and want to see me make a bass reflex bookshelf speaker using these AliExpress drivers, make sure you subscribe to the channel and I'll see you next time. Peace!